What is a sign in adulthood they were neglected as a child? Still feeling like you're always in trouble, even as a grown adult. They don't ask for help. Ever. Hoarding certain things. Like they never had enough and now cannot be without, or afraid someone will take it away. In addition to what has already been said. Constantly apologizing for things that need no apologies. When they talk, they might be prone to fast talking because they are not used to someone listening to them or someone not talking over them. ETA. While I'm currently at the top of this comment section, I just want to take the time to say how beautiful it is to see you all supporting each other in the comments. I hope everyone feels seen and heard tonight.
Fear of abandonment, especially completely unexpected. Believing people will find someone better, or they get sick of you. Believing what makes you unique are actually flaws, and more reasons to leave. People-pleasing resulting in a lack of healthy boundaries, such as putting others' needs before your own and having a hard time saying no. And then once you do say no, wondering if they are mad or going to leave you. Not asking for help or having difficulty delegating. There's being strong and independent, and then there's being stubborn and refusing to rely on anyone else for any sort of help. Currently working through all of the above in therapy. Edited for clarity. Second edit, my first award. Thank you, sad face, to everyone replying, I see you. Other people see you and love you and will support you. We're going to be okay, heart.
I don't trust promises that people make. I avoid conflict as much as possible and tend to look for an exit if things get loud or if people move fast. I try not to be a burden to anyone. But I'm always checking in with people to make sure someone cares about them. I don't like spending money on myself, and if anyone buys me anything, I feel guilty or like it might be held over my head. I find more comfort alone or with animals than most people. I'm worried that I'm constantly disappointing people around me or wondering why anyone would want to be my friend or a romantic partner. I'm working on all of it, of course, and keep a normal appearance as much as possible. But my mind never really stops, and I just wish I wasn't so sad all of the time. Lots of escapism. Games, books, TV, drinks, drugs, etc. Someone who rarely shares what happens at home or talk about their family. Massive black spots in your memory. Feeling completely disconnected from your parents. Looking back at what you do remember as if it was lived by someone else. Try to be invisible. When you get attention from someone, you don't feel good because you weren't used to get attention in your childhood. That's why you don't like to show yourself and try to be as invisible as possible. Being shocked that their existence and actions are perceptible or meaningful to others. For example, they might easily blow off hangouts, not bother responding to texts, and show up late to things before quietly sitting down expecting that nobody really notices their presence or has any care whether or not they're around in the first place, unless it is presumably random, convenient. Usually it is surprising and hurtful to realize that this has actually made the other people feel bad. But it is done with the genuine belief that literally nobody cares and you have no possible influence on anybody's life or feelings either way. For me, I literally do not ask for help until the situation is literally basically life or death. Asking help for physical tasks, mental health, advice, you name it. I'm a hyper-independent individual, and being vulnerable and open just isn't in my personality. Edit. Just wanted to say I'm amazed how many people have the same type of experience and mindset. I've also received a lot of depressing comments too. If any of y'all ever want to talk, DMs are open. Although, ironically, I know most of y'all won't. Tears of joy, red heart. Extreme defensiveness. Growing up you felt like you had to fight to the death for what you knew was right because you were constantly being told that things you saw in front of you or experienced firsthand didn't happen. Low self-esteem, depression, and anxiety. Difficulty saying no and speaking for oneself. Trouble in their relationships, often seeking out unavailable partners. Having an insecure attachment style. Being out of touch with your feelings and had no one to teach you how to regulate them. This is something I feel is largely untalked about in regards to victims of severe neglect. Having difficulty with basic functional skills like cleaning, hygiene, etc. I know because that happened to me. When you grow up amongst bugs and mold and rotting food and trash, wear dirty clothes all the time, and go months without showering, sleeping in piss-soaked sheets that haven't been changed in months even though you wet the bed every night, it really fucking affects your developing brain. Skills implemented in childhood are crucial for the rest of your life. And when you never are taught them, or never taken care of, or don't even have access to do it yourself if you wanted to, then once you're an adult you have to teach yourself all this shit you should have known by the time you were 12. You have to reparent yourself and create new brain pathways to replace the fucked up ones ingrained in you. It's really fucking hard in a way people can't understand unless you've experienced it. A similar way to describe it would be never being taught to speak or read or write, and having to teach yourself to talk and read and write as an adult. There's just fundamental skills that are not there. And it is so much harder to learn that stuff as an adult. I don't even mean so much as not knowing how to wash dishes. Though that's it too. My first boss showed me how to properly wash dishes when I was 18. As much as I do the fundamental organization, planning, management, and execution skills that underlay everything you do in your life. It's not just washing dishes for me. Every step in washing dishes is its own task that requires its own management, organization, planning, and execution. So washing dishes is actually 20 different individual tasks, and all of those things are overwhelming. Going back to the never learning how to talk to read or write metaphor. It's like it's never just saying, reading and writing words for me. Every single movement of my mouth, every single letter requires as much effort for me as it does for someone else to just say the word. By the time I'm done with everyone else is done with the whole alphabet. It's hard to explain, and I'm not sure if I'm doing a good job at trying to. There's just a piece missing that everyone else has. But I don't. Gets discouraged easily and always need words of affirmation. BC they didn't receive any from parents. If they make a small mistake they can't help but keep thinking about it over and over again and feel like everyone in the world hates them. People pleasing. Compulsive lying. For some people, if they weren't safe as a child to trust the adults in their life with their feelings, they can develop a sense of safety in lying. It helps them to feel like their personal inner truth is protected because nobody can invalidate it if they don't know about it. People pleaser. Over-apologetic. Says I'm sorry a lot even when it's not their fault. Difficulty making decisions. Self-critical. Low self-esteem. Self-soothing behaviors such as humming, rocking body or feet. Shares a lot of ADHD-like symptoms and might even be diagnosed with ADHD. Panic attacks at random times and not knowing the reason for the sudden panic attack. Anxious around holidays or certain annual events. Struggle with being the center of attention. Sometimes little things will cause a big emotional reaction. difficulty asking for help, obsessions over certain things like food, clothing, cleaning, wanting to do things for themselves and not including others, especially when it's normal to include others, put themselves down, over-explaining or providing too much information or detail when talking about why or what they did. Sleep disturbances such as night terrors, vivid nightmares, sleepwalking. If they don't like to be touched, because the only time they were touched, it hurt. I'm just checking to see if I have any of the signs. Skull. Abandonment and temper issues. 1. Not wanting people to be behind them or look over their shoulder. I can't deal with this at all. It makes me very anxious. Feel like I'm going to be scolded or attacked. 2. Being over-prepared. Whether work, school, home, emergency kits, etc. or just in your bag or car. I have band-aids. Need a safety pin. Need Neosporin or Tylenol. Need a snack. Because you have to take care of yourself, and you can also then be a people pleaser. You go to therapy for something unrelated, share a normal story, and the therapist is like, "What?" Extreme shame after making a mistake. Feeling weirded out by someone being genuinely nice to you. See, you're that used to all the abuse you endured growing up. You wholeheartedly believe that they're only nice. See, they're obligated to, just like people from your past did to you. Tearing up as soon as they start to talk about how they feel. Without exception, I've noted this is something people who weren't allowed to have emotions as a child do. Lack of trust and an inability to truly be vulnerable with anyone, leading to a lack of deep connections. Don't do basic maintenance on themselves or wait until they deserve to have something basic, like eating something they like or going to a movie. Sometimes taking a long shower or buying perfume. Other times it's things like sleeping in. They won't buy new clothes, or the old ones are ripped, fallen apart. Things people don't think about doing, that's part of your day-to-day. Someone neglected may have gotten that as a fucked up reward system from their parents. Difficulty maintaining healthy relationships with others. Being surprised that anyone remembers anything about them. I accidentally almost made a friend cry because I remembered some friends he talked about once having a baby. It honestly doesn't happen very much for me. I have to tell people stuff about me probably 6 times before they remember there's something to remember. They learn very early how to take care of themselves. I learned to cook at the age of 9. I agree with a lot of these, but haven't seen. Super hard to accept compliments. I can give them easily and freely. But if someone compliments me, whether a new acquaintance or my husband of 23 years, I have to silently coach myself through how to respond normally. My instinct is to ignore them or brush them off. When I was growing up, compliments never led to anything good. Hyper-independence. I can't accept help from people even when I really need it, because I don't want to risk them bailing and leaving me adrift. I can't trust that someone will come through and that things will be okay if I don't take care of it myself. Self-isolation as an adult. A teacher in school grilling me after getting in trouble, and then asking if my mom was around. I broke down into tears and couldn't respond. There was a problem there. Personally, I blow off hangouts with PPL easily. I believe nobody really cares about my presence. But my friend recently told me it bothered them when I cancelled, which stunned me. I've never felt that way before. Also, I have a bad habit of interjecting. I'm used to PPL talking over me and cutting me off. Trying to be nice to them is all but impossible. Any act of kindness, they immediately think you're up to something or want something in return. The concept of doing something for someone in their minds has always been tainted. They have a very hard time understanding unconditional love or simply being kind for no reason.